Hi, Aries, Sun and Rising. Welcome to your July 2024 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So July begins, the Sun is in Cancer. That is a fellow cardinal sign. So this is hitting one of your angular houses, namely the fourth house of home and family. So for Aries people, this may be a little bit tricky, not just because the angular houses square us, but because what it represents is something that it's a water energy. In astrology, you're the template for the universal chart. So the fourth house in Cancer is a water house, and therefore I was saying this to my sun sign of Sag, which I just finished that reading about water putting out fire. And I don't think it's that serious, but certainly if you have any friends who are water signs, you may find that it may be as simple as they're trying to be practical and you have these wild dreams of yours and they're trying to tell you, oh, that's not going to work. That puts out the fire of the Aries people, because you want to run with your dreams. You don't want any limitations with them. And so dealing with domestic matters can feel a bit confining. The Sun is there, but you might be kind of a homebody during this time too, come to think of it. But on the 2nd of the month, we have Mercury going into Leo. So that's a much friendlier angle for Aries people. And this is the 5th house of love and creativity. Please excuse any noise out there between the cicadas and the trains and some of the traffic. It's been kind of noisy in the morning. It kind of quiets down later on, but I'm going to be recording all day. When Mercury enters that 5th house, there can be some creativity in the form of the written word for those people that this relates to. So the person who's writing a play, the person who is writing a novel, even like the theater, anything that you're doing, reading a script, all of that would be intellectual in the 5th house. Now, the 5th house can be children, so it might be working with children, maybe a summer school program. Of course, if you're in Australia, that wouldn't relate to that. Maybe a winter program. I don't know what that is. But yeah, stuff like that. You could be talking to somebody that you have like a romantic possibility. Maybe you're thinking about love and what it has meant in your life. The same day, Neptune goes retrograde at 29 degrees 56 minutes of Pisces. Oh my gosh, so close to the end of the 12th house. And it will be in your birth month, or the beginning of the Aries cycle in March of 2025, when Neptune officially enters Aries. So that'll be very interesting, because look, you already have had Chiron in your sign. Now you have now you're going to have Neptune, which is going to act like Chiron in a way. There's going to be a lot of sensitivity. And you have had, right now, you've had Neptune in that house that it rules, the 12th house. So you've had a lot of these influences of a spiritual nature. So anyway, in the 12th house, Neptune retrograde can possibly make you aware of ways that you have been sabotaging yourself. The 12th house and Neptune can be all about addiction, escapism. And this can be something where when Neptune is there, there is even like an oblivious nature as it pertains to really being able to see how you are addicted. So, in other words, being in denial over addiction. And certainly that can create its own challenges, but this can be really helpful for any Aries people that have been struggling with addiction, because you may see it in the sober light of day. Also, this could relate to any kind of spiritual practices, or if you've been following anyone like a guru. Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces, and so is connected to that 12th house. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is some disillusionment about someone that presented themselves as a spiritual teacher, and maybe or even some spiritual practices, you realize they're not for you, or they have worked against you in some way. On the 5th of the month, we have a new moon at 14 degrees of Cancer in that 4th house of home and family. There could be a new property that you are, I mean, I don't know if this would officially be the time of a move, but it might. You may decide that you're wanting that, and certainly there are good vibes for that. All the personal plans are direct until, I don't know if it's around the middle of the month. So it's a great time to move for sure. But anything that is connected to domestic affairs, there could be new developments with these. On the 11th, Venus goes into Leo. So there you have it. There's that romantic connection. Now, I will say that Mars will not be going into this sector until the end of the year, because it's slowing down for the retrograde that is occurring in your 5th house. So Mars could be kind of the lusty or sexy energy. It might be that you are experiencing like romantic love, and it isn't really in that lust phase yet. And if it's with somebody who is not even, maybe that's why Mercury is there, is because you have to communicate from a distance. But in any case, that could be a good thing for Leo, because you tend to be a bit randy yourself. So maybe having a good old-fashioned romance is the way to kind of circumvent that. This is great for art appreciation, for making money from your art. You know, Venus can tap into the 5th house. The 5th house is the house of pleasure. So anything, Venus certainly can give you money to, you could be spending money on things that you find very enjoyable, but you could be earning money from these things as well. On the 20th, Mars goes into Gemini. This is very mental. 3rd house is brothers and sisters. It's the house of the mind and communication, but it's also teaching and learning, and brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins. I heard another astrologer bringing this up and really emphasizing siblings, not even mentioning these other relatives. And of course, 9 times out of 10, your siblings are going to be closer to you than any other relative, because you likely grew up with them, but that's not always the case either. So Mars could be combative. There could be some kind of conflict that you have with one of these individuals. A sense of competition. Mars can be and like I said, if you're dealing with the 4th house, Cancer, that could be the mother. Some people say the father, but that sibling rivalry kind of rearing its ugly head, if you will. Neighbors can be 3rd house, so conflicts with neighbors. Yeah, that's another thing about the 4th house, the home itself. So Venus there could be beautifying it in some way. but maybe whatever it is that you're doing, it kind of like you're painting the house and then the neighbor complains about the odor and asks you if it's eco-friendly or something like that. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. And but you could be voracious for learning or communicating, and Aries people are very passionate about issues. So you may have your soapbox issue that you really want to kind of push onto others, possibly. And if you're doing a writing project, you might be have that sense of urgency about it. On the next day, this is the 21st, we have a blue moon at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So the last degree, very important degree. It might be, it could be challenging because of the nature of it, but that doesn't mean that it can't be advantageous to you at some point, because the full moon, it's like a culmination of what this represents, but it's also, the full moon itself is a culmination. So in the 10th house, which is the top of the chart and the place in the world that you reside in, it's your kind of little corner of the world. So it is the house of career. And typically that's how we identify ourselves as, and that becomes our shtick or our whatever, identity. But it can also be the sense of others recognizing you. Full moon. Now, this is the second full moon in Capricorn. That's why it's the blue moon. So the first one was at 1 degree. Now this is at 29 degrees. And you might be taking your bow about something. And, you're achieving something, finishing a project for work or your career. I wouldn't be surprised if some people are retiring around this time, and this is the final hurrah, and you're getting, I could see this dinner and everybody, applauding you for your years of service. But yeah, the blue moon makes it more special, and I would say significant, therefore. The very next day, the sun goes into Leo, so back to that area of fun. So here we are. It's like you work hard, play hard, kind of a vibe with the Capricorn and then the Leo. And actually, one thing I've been noting is that Pluto retrograded to 27 degrees last year in Capricorn, and this is at 29 degrees. So there could be some themes resurfacing that are connected to that actually may have a good reward for you. And Pluto will also go back into Capricorn again in the fall, in September or so. And I believe it's only going to go to about 29 degrees. I don't know exactly, but it's even later than 27. So that could be linked to this blue moon, and we shall see about what that provides. So that'll be 2 months in the fall. Pluto retrograding in your 10th house is about anything to, 10th house can be authority figures. So sometimes when Pluto is in the 10th house, there can be this feeling of oppression, that somebody is really kind of lording something over you. And because Pluto can give a person obsession for success in the 10th house, I should say, that when it's retrograding, you may really reflect upon how you play into things. In other words, if there is a theme of authority figures trying to control you, did you have that with your father, which can be the 10th house? And it's really about reclaiming your power. Seems strange to lecture a Leo about this, but I think that Leo people, they run the gamut, and some of them, they can be very on point career wise. And in their private lives, they can be a pushover. They're very, I mean, it would depend on the individual, but there are some that might be like that. So the sun goes into that fifth house on the 22nd of the month, and you may just be, the sun rules the fifth house. You may be very creative at this time and enjoying all of the fun things in life. Again, in the Northern Hemisphere, this is summertime, so that would definitely dovetail with fun and also romance. You might feel very romantic too. On the 25th, Mercury goes into Virgo. That's obviously its domain since you're the template, and it rules, Mercury rules that area, rules Virgo. So your mind is becoming practical as we go into August, and you may be getting into more shaping your time. Like, how do you order your time? How does time work for you or against you? Are you if you are looking to change jobs, you can be talking to employers, potential employers, or researching the work sector, where you want to go, sending in resumes and whatnot. You could be looking at your diet. Sixth house can be your diet and health matters, reading books on health, just maybe preparing for something that you want to accomplish, one of your health goals or work goals. Okay, Aries, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my double astrology readings. I do have an option with the tarot as well as a package. These are a package deal. My double astrology reading is called my deep dive reading, an hour of natal chart analysis, an hour of transits for the upcoming 12 months. And if you want a full-length tarot reading as well, that's called the whole enchilada. I have individual readings. All of the above are individual readings. And I have career, life path readings, love readings, and looking at your child's natal chart. You can find out more information at the link below. Thanks for listening. Bye.